Hi everybody, tonight I'm going to be testing Avast free antivirus version 6. I previously tested this, but I was alerted by some viewers that I'd made some errors and I'd noticed it myself, so I deleted that video and I'm going to make it again without some of that goofy stuff I did last time. So I've pre-installed Avast here, so we don't have to watch the installation process, but for those who are interested, we can look at the properties of the setup file in here, and the free antivirus downloaded setup size is pretty much 60 megabytes. So it's not teeny, but it's not huge. Let's open up our interface here, and we get to the home page here. Avast is somewhat ad-supported in the sense that they're trying to get you to upgrade constantly to their paid versions. The free version contains most of the things that the paid version has now. It has all the real-time shields, and it has a sandbox, which is hooked onto the file shield. A sandbox basically protects any program that it chooses to protect from the rest of the system, so it's basically an isolated program. So, let's go through here. Statistics are going to show you the statistical, basically the statistics of what it finds, the files it scans. You need a Flash Player to view it. I do not currently have Flash Player installed here, but it will show a graph, basically, a moving graph of what occurs. The scanning computer, you have 4 different scans that are preset for you. You have the quick scan, that's a much faster scan than the full system scan because it only goes through the most vulnerable places on your computer. There's a full system scan, a removable media scan, and you can select folders. You can also create a custom scan for if you have something you'd like to scan on a regular basis. Boot time scan is a really important part of Avast. It's something that not every antivirus has. And it allows you to scan the computer when not much is running. Nothing is running, basically, so it scans it during the boot, which makes it a lot easier for Avast to remove any malware it finds. You can view scan logs. So these are all the real-time shields here. This is the file system shield. It will show you the scanned files and the infected files in this graph here. And so if we take a look at expert settings, they have information on how you control your scanning, and basically how it behaves. The auto sandbox, this is, you basically tell it how to sandbox, in what case, and basically in this sense it's asking. You can exclude certain types of files. You can also tell it to scan certain of these advanced system things. You can choose the actions if it detects something. Packers, so basically compressed files, whether it scans the contents or not. And the sensitivity you can leave on normal, because I think that high can cause more false positives than it's worth, but Avast seems to be pretty good about that from what I've seen. But I find that normal works fine. And generally on most computers I tend to check off scan for potentially unwanted programs. I'm not worried about doing that right now because we're not going to be playing around with stuff like that. We're going to be playing with definitely unwanted programs today. So the mail shield will scan mail if you use a program like Outlook to check your email. This will check HTTP traffic in the web browser. This is a pretty powerful part of Avast. This will work for peer-to-peer communications. IM Shield, Network Shield, and that basically protects you from stuff on the network. It's not a firewall, though. The Script Shield protects you from any kind of script that could run to infect your computer. And the Behavior Shield analyzes behavior of programs to try to weed out those that are bad by their behavior. And if you look at expert settings, there is not much that you can look through. And then additional protection, it's just showing you the sandbox, which is part of the file shield, and the web rep. We'll take a look at that later. That shows you the reputation of a website. And site block if you want to block a specific site. But enough of that. We should move on and take a look at the links and see if Avast can protect us. But just before we do that, these are the processes Avast runs. Avast service, which is using about 15.5 megabytes, and Avast user interface, which is using about 3.3 megabytes. So, all in all, it's a fairly light program. It's definitely not affecting my virtual machine. So let's, without any further ado, let's go ahead here and start entering these links. I have 15 links, and we're going to see how Avast does on default settings. I have not changed anything. If you want to lock down Avast more, you can definitely turn up some of those settings. Alright, so we have a fail to initialize. I don't see Avast saying anything on that one, but that program itself might have had a problem. This one is downloading somewhat slowly. Let me just check this one, see if it's shorter. These are both from the same site. However, I wanted to see, because they're both slightly different files. Alright, so it picked up both of those from that site, and it's telling me that neither of them are safe. So, let's move on. Well, we have a free quick keylogger. I don't know what the deal is with this one. That one actually does not look, well, it is undetectable by antiviruses, but it's hard to tell if it's actually doing anything. Alright, so this is the network shield that's blocking this site, and it's telling me that it is not safe. By the way, the Avast sounds can get pretty annoying, and you can turn those off. Alright, it's blocking that URL with the network shield. It's a curious program. Alright, let's see. Oh, this one looks great. Well, I don't see any, it's hard to tell if that one does anything also. It certainly is bringing me to this website, and it has a, if we click on this, it just blocked another basically a website from loading. So there's obviously something on my computer that's trying to get through to access some website, and it was blocked by Avast. So whatever was trying to go through the back door there did not get access. So that one didn't work. It just was not downloading correctly. And let's punch this one in. Avast blocked that one immediately. It blocked that one immediately as well. Alright, the file system shield is definitely reacting to this one, and it cannot run. It's blocking that one. And it is also blocking that one. So we have gone through all of these links, and as far as I can tell, we have a couple weird programs and they are definitely acting oddly. I'm not exactly sure what they are. So let's go ahead here, and I'm going to run a full system scan, and we're just going to see if Avast picks up anything, or if there's anything to notice at all. And let's scan for potentially unwanted programs. For that could be what that is. And sensitivity, let's just turn that up and see if we find anything. So let's start the scan here. What I found is that Avast can scan at a pretty high speed. It's running at about 50 to 90 megabytes a second right now, which is a fairly remarkable scan speed as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to pause this, and I'll be right back when this is done, and we'll take a look and see if this finds anything. Alright, so the scan was completed. It was a rather quick scan. It took only 2 minutes 52 seconds to run. It tested a lot of data, and it found 20 infected files. So let's take a look here. And so basically what it found was a bunch of pups, so potentially unwanted programs. So I'm glad I enabled that, and it looks like what this was and what the Zelda thing was is currently testing the Avast database as potentially unwanted programs. And that's just another reason that I'd say is a good reason to turn on potentially unwanted programs. So if you go under the settings in any file shield or web shield or network shield or whatever, and just tell it to check for potentially unwanted programs under sensitivity, I think that's an extremely good idea. So let's move these to chest. Alright, the system cannot find that file. So let's just see what happens if we hit delete. Action postponed until next reboot. Alright, and let's see what happens if we do that. Does it find anything? It's still thinking. So let's go ahead and close this. So what it wants to do right now is schedule a boot time scan. So we're going to go ahead and do that and see if it can just find anything else or clean anything else, plus we get to see what a boot time scan looks like. So I'm going to hit this, and the computer's going to restart, and I will show you when it boots up into the boot scan, and we'll take a look at what that looks like. So what it found here is some stuff, and now it's asking me what I want to do with it. So it's giving me some options that I can hit. So if I hit 3, I can move it to the chest. So let's see what happens if I hit 3 on this one. So it moved it to chest, and it is going to continue scanning here. And I'm going to pause this and we will be right back. I hadn't noticed this before, but you can just hit move all the chest. So I'm going to hit 4 here, and then it's going to move hopefully everything else it finds to the chest. Alright, so I'm going to be right back. This detection I find interesting right now. It seems to be find something in maybe in a Avast temp folder or something, but it wants to make sure that I actually want to remove it, but I guess I'll say yes, because it wants to make sure that if it's in the system folder, it's not going to remove something bad. So it found 6 infected files, and it's now cleaning those out. Those were probably failed removals previously. So an error occurred while loading free keylogger. Either that means that it's not totally gone, or there's a simple fact that it's just giving me a Windows error. To find out about that, let's download Malwarebytes, and we will install that and run it, and we will find out if there is absolutely anything left after Avast took care with the boot scan. So I'm going to install that and I'll be right back. I was just opening up Internet Explorer again, and I just noticed that I have this toolbar installed and that my home page is changed into this painfully annoying home page, and Avast is not really giving it a very good reputation. It's definitely not green. But other than that, I haven't noticed anything else that's nasty yet. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, so we've got 11 results here. The Malwarebytes scan took about 50 seconds longer, 40-50 seconds longer than the Avast scan, but not much different. So let's see, we're picking up this exe here, all adware, the relevant knowledge, that's probably my toolbar. So it's probably removing basically what's hooked onto that toolbar. That's my guess. And let's go ahead and remove these. And we will restart the computer here. And after that, we will wrap this up. So I'm still getting this error regarding free keylogger. I'd probably have to go in and remove some registry items to clean that up, so nothing really detected that. Let's see what happens if we open Internet Explorer here. So that toolbar is still there, so apparently that is not what was being removed. It was obviously something else, and this, my guess, would be removed via the control panel, add remove programs. And I don't think it's highly malicious or anything, it's just a toolbar. But even after running Malwarebytes, it definitely picked up something, and it removed that too. I wouldn't call this machine completely clear, but I think it's removed all the malicious stuff. So Avast did a decent job. I've had some interesting experience with Avast. My last test, it knocked everything out, and this test, it knocked a lot out, except for some weird adware, potentially unwanted program things. Ultimately, my experience with Avast has been that when compared with its competition, Microsoft Security Essentials, Avira, it definitely performs well. It definitely has less false positives than Avira has had for me. And I feel that it has much stronger shields than Microsoft Security Essentials, and it actually has a lot more of them too. It's basically the only free product that seems to offer all the shields that a full antivirus would actually offer, a full pay-for antivirus. So I'm a fan of the product. I have no association with them though, so this is just my personal opinion. And you know, it's definitely a serious contender in the field of free antiviruses, if not one of the contenders. So, If you don't have an antivirus right now or you're looking for a trade, go ahead and try it out. I think it's definitely a good product.